going to make sure we're up and running and then pass this link along to the Discord channel. To the Discord channel. All right.
You're the one viewer.
Yeah, that's me. And
You're the one viewer.
and then I can. Yeah, it tweets automatically.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to the 6th Gimbalabs weekly update. We do this every Friday at about this time, and our goal is to deliver on our promise as a member of the Catalyst community and the Cardano community at large. We owe it to all of you to let you know what we're up to and to share ways with you to get involved. So we try to do this pretty quickly every Friday, and my goal is to keep this under 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get it down to just 10 today, all right? So every week we have the same agenda. We want to give some shout outs to people who have been contributing their time and talent, share an update with you about what we've done and our next steps, and then propose some next steps to you, okay? And then finally at the end, if you're watching this and you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll be happy to stick around and answer any of that. So this week's shout outs, it was a breathtaking week across the Cardano community, I think. So it's kind of impossible to capture everything here, but we had a few things that we're really excited about going on. From day one for Gimbalabs, one of the groups that we really want to interact with are talented developers who may lack experience with blockchain so far. And we know that dApp building still requires all sorts of development chops, right? And we want to help developers like you get to know how blockchain interacts with the stack that you already know how to build on. So huge shout out to Will, to Nick, to Giovanni, and to Kevin for beginning these conversations with us this week. And we're really pumped just a little bit later today, coming up in just over an hour, to launch our very first Playground development sprint. More on that to come. Another huge shout out to Matthew, Farouk, and Juan, and everybody else who's contributed to the first Gimbalab initiative experiment. But we really want to appreciate you guys in particular for stepping up and leading this work. More on that as well in just a minute.
And also, I want to shout out Alexander at Monapool for his awesome Cardano Network observability tool. If you haven't check it out, it's a very visual way to observe where the pools are located, which are their size, their provider, and it's a very different tool. He's been using for his last report. He's been using our Dandelion endpoint, so that's a great news for us.
I've been looking for a tool like that one for a long time, and there's been some people who have done a pretty good job on it, but this one really takes it up a notch. So yeah, Alexander, thank you. And it's so fun to see those dandelions spreading on the wind. That's what we want to see. All right, so what have we done? Who wants to take the first bullet point? I feel like we all could really wax poetic about this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally can take it. So first thing, we added Kyle to our Gimbalabs leadership team. So Kyle basically discovered us. Actually, Roberto, you probably have the story behind that, but was teaming up with Roberto and developing, toying with a Lyft wallet. And so we are glad he is super engaged. He is just in line with what Gimbalabs wants to achieve, and really committed to take this together with us to the next level. I don't know, Roberto, if you have other words for that.
Yeah, I want to mention how natural it felt to onboard him as leader, because he's been acting as a leader. We've been working together, and this was pretty organic. I mean, we started hacking on coding on chain together. We started hacking Leaf wallet, creating a wallet using our Dandelion endpoints. Yeah, it made perfect sense. And we are pretty aligned in philosophy and how we want to build on top of Cardano. And it's been awesome. I hope we can onboard more team members like this in the near future.
When we talk about alignment, we're not talking about agreeing on every single thing. Nobody does, right? What we're really talking about here is just the broad understanding that you can definitely accomplish more on a team, right? And so there's just so much to do. There really is opportunity for everybody who's got talent to contribute to the growing Cardano ecosystem. And if you're somebody out there like us who recognizes that you can do more together than alone, that's the main point that we want to see alignment on, and we would welcome you with open arms to jump in. Speaking of that, Gimbalabs.com continues to come along, and one of the big achievements this week is just creating an initial content infrastructure that's really going to make it easier for more people to contribute without going deep. So we tested this out with the Dandelion endpoints, and because we're maintaining ownership of it and not relying on third-party tools to manage this content, what that allows us to do is have some options moving forward about how we integrate other layers into that. So, I think there's a lot of experimentation to come with a blockchain-based content management system. So yeah, a lot more there to come.
We've been also upgrading our Dandelion deployment because lately mainnet is very busy with transactions traffic. It takes more resources, so we are having problems with Cardano DB. It's restarting from time to time, and I need to split. We are using Kubernetes, and it's very easy to split the services different instances, but I want to take the opportunity of reorganize a couple of things and include an API gateway into the deployment that will allow us some cool abilities. Also, we had another great coding on chain hacking session about the staking. This time we managed to register a stake keys on the blockchain, and next session will be probably delegating those stake addresses to a pool.
We also wrapped up just now our first 2 weeks of Gimbalabs initiatives. So more on that on the next slide, because I want to dive into that for a moment. And also I mentioned already in the shoutouts that we're bringing experienced developers aboard to launch our first playground sprint today. More on that as well in the weeks to come. But if you are one of those experienced developers who just wants to know how to build with blockchain, I can't think of many better places to start than these coding on chain videos, because you'll just start to get a feel for what you have to think about, right? I mean, what we're talking about is sending value, right? In some cases, like a lot of money through these programs. So you better get them right. This is the whole thing about dApps and smart contracts and all that. The Glow programming language that we all heard about yesterday. All of these things are built to be perfectly reliable. That's the goal, right? So if you want to see what that entails, coding on chain can be a really cool place to start. And then Fund 4 proposal.
Oh, we can't hear you, Julie.
Still no. We had you a second ago. Here, I'll take this one. So Julie has been really leading us on developing the new Fund 4 proposal. And it's been really cool to have conversations where, can we hear you now? Hello?
Nope.
No, it's for some reason, it's not coming through. Okay, I'll take this one real fast. I mean, Julie, you've really been leading the charge on collecting a wide variety of thinking. And anybody who's participating in Gimbalabs right now, you know that we are still working to define precisely what we do, right? We have our hands in a bunch of different things, and we're really excited to be just tinkering in one way and another. But we're really hoping that the Fund 4 proposal can show how we want to focus our efforts over the next 3 months. Specifically, we really want to talk about bringing in these new developers who can start building the infrastructure that we need to have use cases that we can really put in people's hands. And the end result of that will be a library of different layers and tools that are available freely and open source, so people can come and use them for their own purposes. And in parallel to developing those resources, we're trying to develop a lot of expertise about how to work as a decentralized team, and what sorts of things we have to think about in order to make the technology work. So that's what you'll see in our Fund 4 proposal. Again, long story short, we hope that it lends a lot of clarity to what we're doing here. I mentioned Gimbalabs initiatives. These are along the lines of what I was just saying. There's a lot to learn about technology, but there's also a lot to learn just about how to work together in this Cardano-enabled, blockchain-enabled world. So we launched 2 weeks ago our first 2 experiments. I'm not going to reiterate everything about those right now, just to say that experiments number 1 and number 2 are still ongoing. We've actually made some great strides along both of them. But in terms of fully delivering on the outcomes, there's still a little bit of work to do. And that's ideal, right? We've learned a lot about how to start working together. 3 of the things that we've learned at a high level are that having leaders of a project is a really good thing, right? There's a reason project managers exist, and finding a way to encapsulate that role is going to be essential to the future of Gimbalabs initiatives. We also have to be really clear about the challenge itself. So we had one challenge about creating a plan for a video content library, and another one about just creating high-level recommendations for an incentive structure. The video project just made a lot more progress because that was a much clearer and tangible goal, whereas the conversation about incentive structures just led to a lot of big conversations. And there was a lot of value in those, but we don't yet see a tangible outcome there, right? So I think moving forward, we're probably never again going to put out a challenge that's quite as vague as the tokenization one. But we're really glad we did that because we had to find out where the limit was. So next week, we're going to iterate on what we learned and define the next 2 experiments, while also moving forward on experiment 1, the video library, and then taking what we learned in experiment 2 and proposing some outcomes to the community and asking people for feedback. Do you 2 have anything to add to that?
No, I just want to say that the experiment 2 tokenomic research was really needed to start conversation about how we want to cooperate. And it was, even if we don't have an strategy just that. It was a needed step to build this community. I'm glad we did. Really enjoyed the exercise.
Me too. And if you were in that chat, you contributed. Okay, so please make sure to check out. We just posted in the announcements channel for the initiatives a way to share your thoughts and debrief, and we want to compensate you. Okay, so just take a look at that form, talk about what you've seen so far, and how you'd like to be compensated, and you'll see a video there. You can follow up with that on your own. We were just having a leadership team meeting earlier today, and we were talking about why we're having this conversation about incentives and tokens in the first place. One really important element here is that we want to have a Gimbalabs token because we want to do it right. Every layer of the stack that's now available to us on Cardano, we want to say, hey, here's how we used it, or here's what we tried, and here's how we messed up, right? As people who are going to be bringing more businesses and more folks on board to Cardano, the more real experience we have kind of addressing these questions in real time, the better we're going to be at bringing people in, because we don't want to leave people to have to do all this research for themselves. Okay, so if you're part of that, we're just so glad you're here, and we're excited for that conversation to continue next week. So next steps, we'll submit our Fund 4 Catalyst proposal. Those are due next Wednesday, first drafts. Remember, they don't have to be perfect yet, okay? So we're going to try to share as much as we can, but I'm saying this as much for other proposers as anybody. Make sure to just get your ideas out there, because one of the best ways to write a great proposal is to get your initial ideas into the community and then be really open to the feedback you get, so you can make the best possible proposal by the time voting comes around. We're building our first use case via the Playground Sprint, and like I already said, we are iterating on the Gimbalabs initiatives. More to come on the Playground Sprint next week. I want to have something to actually show for our work instead of promising things that haven't happened yet. So your next steps, you want to get involved with the initiatives or with the Playground, join us on Discord. And if you have something you want to build and you're not sure how, reach out to us. This is one of the most essential things we can offer today, is a place where it's not just the three of us, Roberto, Julie, and me, that you see on the screen right now. There's a whole bunch of brilliant people in the Gimbalabs community who are ready to contribute their ideas, their opinions, their technical skills. All you got to do is ask to have access to that. Okay, so come on over. I think that's all we've got for today. Thanks for hanging out with us. And if you are watching on YouTube, if you got questions, we'll stick around for just a minute or two. If there's anything you want to ask, I'm going to check Discord too. Looks good. Okay.
Yeah, by the way, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I created a new channel on the Gimbalabs Playground category today, which is Brain Dump, just to throw their random thoughts and interesting tools that maybe make more sense built on top of a blockchain. Just another way to encourage people to speak out their minds about building building utility.
Quasar, if you're listening, we're going to put you in charge of that channel, okay?
100%.
Excellent. Slice Keeper just asked, is there anyone working on minting NFTs within the Discord server? Actually, yes. The Somint team, maybe you've seen their proposal on Project Catalyst. The two founders of Somint are working with us to develop their outward-facing content, so some kind of educational plan for the artist community about NFTs. And so you can talk to them directly and hear about their experience. They, in turn, are working very closely with the comprehensive NFT framework run by Rich and his team out in Wyoming. So you can start to see how all these different pieces work together. And so, yeah, if you post a question, Slicekeeper, we've seen you in the Discord. So just post a question there. We'd love to introduce you to Aziz and to Farouk. And you can get that conversation going with them.
Right.
All right. I think it goes without saying that we're so grateful for all of you and really excited to keep seeing what's next. So especially if you're too excited to figure out what to do, come talk to us and we'll give you some ideas for how to contribute. Okay. Until next week, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon.
You guys.